What's going on YouTube? So, sorry I didn't do a pregame video or a postgame reaction on Sunday. Doing it today, but I also have some other things to react to today as well. So, quick little thing to let you guys know, this is Real Men Wear Kills TV. This is Patrick Joy. Welcome, and just a quick little notice why I didn't do a pregame video and didn't do the postgame video on Sunday. Was dealing with some family stuff, and it was kind of messing with my mental health a little bit, so I had to deal with that. I didn't feel like I could give you guys the content that you deserve as far as that goes, but worked through a little bit of that. Got a couple things I got to take care of as far as that stuff goes, but as always, I want to make sure I'm giving you guys good quality content, and I want to make sure that you guys are happy with the content I'm giving you. So woke up this morning and decided to check the updated rankings. In Nebraska, in both the CBS poll and the AP Top 25, is 25th in the country, with no top 25 teams left on the schedule. This is huge, guys. This is. We got no top 25 teams left on the schedule. We had a win against Maryland, a tough win, but a win. And that's one of the things I love about this team this year is we keep finding ways to win. Even Michigan, the one loss we have, we fought hard and we kept it close. And Michigan is no longer in the top 25 either. Penn State is no longer in the top 25. UCLA is no longer in the top 25. That's two teams that were top 25 teams that are left on our schedule that are no longer in the top 25, and Nebraska is. That is huge. Now, the coaches poll still has us receiving votes, but I think I saw like 90 votes. So, I mean, this is huge. Huge for our schedule, huge for our team. And I hope the team remains hungry and remains fighting for the wins. Nebraska is definitely a fourth quarter team this year, which is a huge change from the past. Remember, we seem to have trouble finishing games in the past, and now we're finishing games, and we're finishing them in a big way. Fighting hard to the end, doing everything that we have to do. Now let's look at the Maryland game. The Maryland game, yeah, we had some stupid penalties, but Maryland had some even stupider penalties. I mean, I can't remember how many there were, at least 2, maybe 3 personal foul penalties. Just what were those Maryland players thinking on some of them? It was insane. I'm also dealing with some sinus stuff going on right now. It's cooling off here, and as you see, I'm wearing flannel. I'm still a little bit chilly, but that's just fall weather in Nebraska. I think it's supposed to get up to like 62 today. It's only in the 40s right now. But holy crap. We're a top 25 team. We got no top 25 teams left on our schedule. That could change. There are still 2 undefeated teams in the Big Ten Conference, Ohio State and Indiana, neither of whom we play, which means I got a feeling that we're probably not going to, even if we, which means, with those 2 still undefeated, they don't play each other, there's a chance they could finish the season undefeated, which means we probably won't be going to the conference championship. However, I really wasn't counting on us going to the conference championship. One of the things I would note with that, though, and my ADHD is all through the roof this morning, so it sounds like I'm jumping around. Yeah, I'm jumping around because my brain's just going that way. One of the things I will note is our chances as far as the odds go with the Vegas odds makers. Our chances of actually making the playoffs keeps increasing. I think we're at like 10.3%. And I think that's largely due to the fact that Nebraska is a team that finds a way to win. I'm very confident we're going to make a bowl game this year. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs. It'd be cool, but I don't see us lasting long in the playoffs either. And that's, as a fan, I'd love to see us go all the way. But when I try to look at it from a more objective mindset, if we were to make the playoffs, I think we probably wouldn't make it far in the playoffs. But, that's the beauty of college football. Any given thing can happen on any given Saturday. We got Minnesota coming up. I believe that's Friday. So Thursday I'll be looking to try and make a pregame video, if that is the case. And then Saturday make a post-game reaction. It's one of those things where I'm looking at this and I'm kind of thinking that UCLA and Penn State, who are still decent teams, they're just not doing as good as everybody thought they were going to do. I see us, I'm looking at them. I originally had them as probable losses, just like I had Minnesota as a probable loss, and then changed it to a possible win. Well, Minnesota, I'm going to say with confidence that we got a good chance of winning against Minnesota. As far as UCLA and Penn State goes, I'm thinking probable wins. And I'm going to be looking to, I'm going to be looking to change that to probable wins as well. Or to, definitive wins. I think we can beat Minnesota. I think we can beat Northwestern. I think we can beat USC. I think we can beat UCLA, Penn State, Iowa. I think we can beat all of these guys, or at least have a decent chance at beating them. And let's face it, Iowa, they're a rivalry game. And no matter what either team is doing, we always make it tough for, each other when we play each other. And I look to see that again in at the end of November. But I see us being able to beat Iowa. I'm looking at the schedule. There's a good chance that Michigan ends up being our only loss. There's a good chance of it. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. Do I think Nebraska is going to stay in the top 25? I don't know. This has been kind of a crazy year for college football so far. And, even for Nebraska football, look at the Maryland game. So many stupid mistakes on both sides of the ball for both Nebraska and Maryland. And, that was the type of game that going into the fourth quarter trailing, we would have lost in past years. And we found a way to win. That is huge. That is huge, guys. We got some tough games ahead. I still expect UCLA and Penn State to both be really tough games. I expect Minnesota to play us tough. But I expect us to be able to win. Because that is what the team is telegraphing right now is, hey, we're going to come out and we're going to find a way to win. And I think that is good. I think that's great. We finally have a team that rather than snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, is snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. That is huge. That is a huge turnaround. We're finding ways to win. What Al Davis from the Raiders used to say, just win, baby. Just win. I'm a big Raiders fan, by the way. even though I haven't been watching too much of their stuff. Definitely a bigger Nebraska fan than I am a Raiders fan, but just haven't had time to watch a whole lot of NFL football. This is one of those seasons where you're reminded why you love college football. Why college football is so special. And also a shout out to the volleyball team. The girls playing volleyball for Nebraska, they are doing great this year. My wife's a big volleyball fan, so we'll put the game on everyone. We'll try to put the game on whenever we can, and we'll watch the girls play. They're doing great. Big shout out to them. Yeah, like I said, I'm all over the place today, guys. I really am, especially with us being top 25, the potential. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but I want to. I want to so bad. Who knows? Maybe I'll be drinking the Kool-Aid after, the Minnesota game. I don't know. Maybe not how well we do against Minnesota. Going to do some research on Minnesota a little bit just to make sure my guesses are correct on them. But yeah, we don't have a top 25 team left on our schedule. And we're a top 25 team. So that arguably means that we should be able to win, every single game that's left on the schedule. Will we? I don't know. I don't know. But what I do expect to see is our players fight hard and find ways to win whenever possible. And that is really, really, really big, really huge. This is one of those seasons where a lot can happen. I mean, there's still a lot of football left. We still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games left, and we're 5-1. And we got the potential to finish 11-1. I still think, I still think 8-4 is still on the table, but I feel like that's a floor. But I feel like the ceiling now is 11-1, and that is good. They talk about the Matt Rhule turnaround, year 3 turnaround, or year 3 bump, and I think we're seeing it. We're seeing a team that is finding ways to win. We're seeing a team that I can see us starting next season in the top 25, or at the very least just outside of it. We're seeing a team that wants to win, that is hungry for the wins, a team that wants to prove itself, and remind everybody why Nebraska is a college football blue blood. And that's important. That's huge. So I'm feeling very positive about the team right now. Maybe by Thursday or so, once I've done some research, maybe I'll be a little more sober about the team. I don't know. I might be even more positive about the team. Oh, and one of the teams we beat early on in the season, everybody's like, oh, they're nothing. Cincinnati, they're in the top 25 too. They're right ahead of us. They're 24th in the country according to AP top 25. And Anyways, they're in the top. They're 24th in the nation right now. In the AP top 25. CBS I think has them at 22nd. So Cincinnati's doing good too. And I told you, don't think too lightly on Cincinnati, playing as close to us as they did. They're looking a lot better than everybody thought they were. And again, this is a case of anything can happen on any given Saturday. They got the same record as we do, 5-1. And a team that beat us is outside of the top 25 now. So it's kind of crazy. Now, will Michigan stay outside the top 25? I don't know. I think they can climb their way back, which only looks better for us. You got Ohio State and Indiana in the Big Ten that are still undefeated. Everybody else is like 5-1. That sort of thing. The Big Ten is a tough conference to win in. And, they could end up 11-1 as well. Either one of those teams. Nebraska could end up 11-1. It could be a really, really, really interesting end of the season picture when it comes to the top 25, to the Big Ten, to the college football playoffs. It's just been a crazy year. If you look at some of the teams that are in the top 25, and you go, wait a minute, they're in the top 25? Now, there's some teams you're like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But there's other teams you're like, wait a minute, what are they doing there? There's other teams knocking on the door of the top 25 who, you wouldn't expect to be knocking on the door. There's teams outside the top 25 that you would expect to be in the top 25 because they're just a given, usually. So, it's a crazy season. It's a crazy year for college football. And honestly, anything can happen. Yeah. And if Michigan ends up being our one loss of the season, if we win the rest of our games, Michigan ends up being our one loss, that's a respectable loss. Especially with as close as we played them. So much going on. So much going on here. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out. I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be insane. I think Nebraska's going to keep finding ways to win games. There's still... none of these teams left on the schedule, the way they're performing, and the way Nebraska's performing, none of these teams are given losses. In fact, most of them are wins, and there's a few that are quite possibly wins. Like I said, we got Minnesota, Northwestern, USC, UCLA, Penn State, and Iowa left. Now let's see. Minnesota is an away game. Northwestern's a home game. USC is a home game. UCLA is a away game, and we've struggled away against UCLA, but we'll see what happens. Penn State is an away game, and Iowa is a home game. So we got a nice little balance between away and the home games there. Who knows what's going to happen? We just got tested on the road, and we did good. We didn't do great, but we did good. And I see that happening, with these other away games that we have. These home games that we have, I expect us to dominate. I expect us to fight hard, play hard. When you talk about a stadium that is... When you talk about a stadium that is an obvious advantage for the home team, Memorial Stadium is an obvious advantage for the home team. Nebraska fans were loud, we're proud, we're insane. Now there's alcohol at the stadium. As if we need anything else to make us more rowdy. But, we're also not rowdy in a bad way. We're rowdy in a good way. We have a reputation for being really good to visiting fans and visiting teams. And I expect us to continue that. There's a reason why they say, Nebraska fans are some of the best fans of college football. How about all them Husker fans that were at the Maryland game? It seemed like there was more Husker fans at the Maryland game than there were Maryland fans. And actually, if you looked at the stadium was right leading up to the kickoff, like almost all the way up to the kickoff, was pretty empty. In fact, I'm not sure if it really got full. There were a lot of empty seats. I'm not sure what was up with that. Maryland fans, what's going on with you guys there? Can't afford tickets? What? I mean, come on. Not that I'm complaining. We had enough Nebraska fans there that I'm sure it almost felt like a home game. But, even though we were pretty far away and whatnot. But, I love the culture at Nebraska right now. I love the atmosphere at Nebraska. I just love what the team is doing. The team has that mindset of let's find a way to win. And they work together well. They play well together. They do well together. Yeah, every once in a while there's a stupid mistake or something. But despite that, we still find a way to win. Not sure what else to say there. I mean, like I said, I know this video's been all over the place. My ADHD is all kinds of crazy right now today. But yeah, like I said, I expect the team to win games. I expect the team to find ways to win because that's what they've been doing. That's what they've made us believe in this year, is finding ways to win. So be looking for that. With that, I'm going to hop off of here. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you in the next video. As always, go Big Red, and God bless y'all.